And I will tell you, we really try to talk about the things that, the last 24 hours. And that just kind of keeps us conscious of that gratitude. But I was thinking this morning as I was getting up, I was like, I'm so thankful that Brittany volunteers her time and her talent, does our flyers and handles everything. It's like we just get to be better people when we have good people in our lives. And for me today, I don't care if you're gratitude in a 5-second journal, 5-minute journal, 5-hour journal, just be grateful. Gratitude changes everything, y'all. I mean, I know that there's so many things that we can think of that we're just like, man, this is happening and this is happening. But when you take a second, even if the kids are going crazy, oh my goodness, I am just so thankful that my kids are healthy and well enough to drive me crazy. Or, when your partner is just not being the person that you fell in love with, and you're just like, I'm just so thankful to have someone in my life that, and after this passes, we were going to be okay. Or I'm so thankful for my pups, they love me unconditionally, things that are, when you're just having a bad day, traffic, what, I'm so thankful to have a job to go to. And so everything can shift with that gratitude mindset. For me, last night I spoke at a college, and I was just grateful that I have spent time in Ooh, I'm looking rough. I'm my screen on. I'm so grateful that, I've spent time really going through goal setting and dream boards and things like that. That's something that I can pass on to people, and just being able to do a job that I operate in my highest usage. Like, it's been a minute since I spoke in an audience. And last night I told Pat, I said, I'm just so thankful for Lavelle. Like, I love what I get to do. Like, I operate in my highest usage when I am doing my thing. So anyway, drop in the comments something you're grateful for. Health, guys, right now, health is an incredible thing to be grateful for. To be honest, I'm grateful to be on the other side of what our country's doing, whether you like who's in the White House or whatever, be in charge of who's in your house. And let's move on with life. And there's just so much to be grateful for. And even in the hardest times, we can take the time to find something to be grateful for. So that's how we always start our mornings, because it is just essential. I want to encourage you guys. I was thinking this a little bit ago, and I'm going to be quiet in just a minute. And but I was thinking this. I used to often post, especially like on Thankful Thursday, post my gratitude journals. So if you're new with us and you're kind of looking for engagement, looking for ways to share, we used to post things like, what gratitude journal do you use? And we would share that with other people outside of our community. So I just want to remind you guys to share your gratitude journals, whether that is a notebook or if it's a 5-minute journal, whatever it is. Share that, because that's something I know for me. I thought about it when I was looking at my journal this morning. I thought, I haven't posted this in a minute. So, maybe have it by your bedside with your capsules, put it there. People will say, what's that book? And it just opens up and stimulates conversation. We have been talking about it now for 5 years, 7 years, but we forget, just like simple things like making our bed. That's a book that we read as a group. That's a book that we talked about, and we used to post about it, habits of making your bed and celebrating small wins. So that's something that we don't want to forget, just those daily practical things that we're doing that we can share with our audience. So don't forget that. So we're going to kick it off. And I have some of my, they are my business partners, but more importantly than that, they're my friends, and we do life together. So I love this trio, and I'm going to let whoever wants to start. And Tammy, if you want to start, and then we'll just kind of round table if Court's on, and then Cheryl, whatever y'all want to do. So I know our topics today is goals take time. And so I'm going to mute because I'm fired up because I just did a session last night. So I could talk for 5 hours right now about goals. So let's hear it, Tammy.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for asking me to be on here, Chas. I appreciate it. And of course, I'm blessed and grateful to have my beautiful friends, Cheryl and Kortney, on here with me. And like you said, business partners, but more, they're my life. They're my friends. And so what I wanted to talk about, I know I love this topic always. Can I say that I fall short of writing my goals? Yes, I do. I'm going to be honest, but I do have them. And so I was like, who really is really good about goal setting? And so I got on with Brian Tracy and listened to him for the last since you mentioned this yesterday. And so I just wrote down some of the things that I learned from him. And I know that, so I just wrote them down and I'm going to read them off, and then, I can send a picture wherever if anybody wants to see it, but it's a Brian Tracy goal setting, and it was a 80-20 rules to goal setting. So number one, he said, write down 10 goals, pick the 2 that are most important to you. So you're going to have a list of 10, but you want to grab the top 2, read each one and see how important it is to you and what really you want to go for. Number 2, he said, work at those 2 goals all the time. All the time you want to work at those 2 goals. Your most valuable task can be the hardest, but those are what you're going to get the best results from. So, you look at those big goals and you're like, oh man, I better go ahead and work on these little ones first. And he said, resist the temptation to fix all the little things first, because they become more and more all day long. He said, if you get up in the morning and you look at that big goal and going, yeah, I'm not going for that, I'm going to reach for these real little ones, you're going to get in almost like a scroll hole. You're going to get just doing the little things and never get anywhere. And you're going to be at the end of the day going, I didn't do anything, which all of this makes complete sense to me, because I can do that a lot, start on those little tiny tasks like, oh yeah, I got to delete my pictures. And the next thing you know, I'm back on Facebook and doing all the things that I shouldn't be doing. He said, yeah, you'll be the horse that spins your wheel all day long. 85% of successful people have one big goal that they work on daily. 3% of unsuccessful people have a big goal and they don't work on it at all. So when your goals are clear, you will come up with exactly the right answer at the right time. So what I've learned, and I've learned this mostly actually from you and Paul and some other leaders, is to write my goals down and make sure that I have dates next to them. And, we can change the date. It's okay. But in your mind, you need to be like working towards that goal all the time. Like, I know last year I fell short on my goal of launching my podcast, and I could use all the excuses of COVID and all the things, but I really believe it was because I was supposed to wait a little longer. I needed to learn more and do more. So it's launching March 9th this year. And I have the date, I have it written down, and I have it all over the place. And I have my goals of I have these all over my place too, all over my house, 200K millionaire, operation winning. I have these hung all over with dates next to them. And that's kind of where I'm at with goals, that I know I have to have the dates and I know I have to work on them, because they're not going to happen if I don't work on them. So very important to me.
That's so good, Tammy. And if you guys have not read Eat That Frog, it's a good read. I call it a purse read, just because it's something you can throw in your purse, throw in your bag if you're sitting in the carpool line or you're at lunch or something like that. It's a great book. It's a great book to go back and read, but that really kind of stimulated that thought for me. Eat that frog. So that's good. All right, Cheryl.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Chas, for having me on here, especially with my most favorite people in the world. So goal setting. Oh my gosh. I'm like Tammy. I would set goals, but not dates. So I found that I have to set dates. But I have to do daily goals. I have to write them in my planner. I have to look at them. I have to say, these are the things that I need to get done today for my personal life. These are things I need to get done today for business, and make sure that I stick to that, and then celebrate the little wins. You know, I got everything done today. Woohoo. And accepting that you have to make sacrifices. I mean, that's just for me. I'm like a neat freak, right? Like I want everything in its place. I want all the dishes done. I want all the things done. But in reality, there's only so much time in the day. So, you know what? If there's dishes in the sink, there's dishes in the sink. You just have to make those sacrifices. If you're going for, you know, fitness goals, okay, you can't have those cookies, maybe, you know, you can't have those things. So accepting that you have to have some sacrifices along the way makes it a lot easier to stay focused and looking at that big picture, you know, looking at the big picture of what you're going to accomplish by, you know, not going out to dinner and staying home on a Friday night and working your business. You know, what are you going to gain from that? Not turning on the TV and watching a TV show, but turning on YouTube and watching something motivational or educational that's going to help you reach your goals. So that is huge to keep in mind for me, is making those sacrifices for the big goal and writing down those daily goals, because those daily goals are going to help you get to your weekly goals and your monthly goals and ultimately what you want to accomplish in that year.
That's good. That's good. Is Court on?
Am.
Good morning.
Morning.
Have you already bicycled like 700 miles?
No, actually, I really haven't been on my bike since like November. So,
Yeah, you're resting. You're taking care of you. That's okay. Never
I'm
mind.
pretending because I'm wearing this shirt. It makes me feel good about myself.
Hey, you know what? I pretend all the time. I put on yoga gear and I go to the Walmart and people are like, "Oh, she works out." I'm like, "No, I crawl out of bed." So.
Well, here's something super cool. So I'm 43 years old. So I've like Grateful Dead, you know, back in the day in high school. Well, Peloton, I just ordered, they just came out with Peloton Grateful Dead gear. I mean, gear, meaning shirt, hat. So you'll be all seeing me Grateful Dead out Peloton here in a minute because it's coming, it's shipping, and it's on its way. Okay.
Pat will think you're so hot. He likes all that devilish stuff. So yeah, he likes that. He was like, I put on like this pajama shirt that says like Megadeth or whatever. And he's like, "Oh baby, you're so hot." I'm like, I feel like I need to bathe in holy water. I don't even know. So anyway.
No kidding. Well, okay, so goals. What a great time to talk about this. We're in January and everyone probably got the checkup from the neck up, you know, beginning of this year. Obviously, last year was kind of, you know, a year and we all went through it together. So we are all coming together at 2021 and we are going to get strong and we are going to keep each other accountable. But here's the thing. Operation Winning is loaded, right? Everyone is fired up, everyone's ready to roll. The people that were here have came back and said, you know, I don't know why I stepped back, but you know what? I'm motivated, let's go. And you guys, that's awesome. Don't ever think because someone was off the chains for the last year or two and they decide they want to come back because of these bonuses. That is absolutely perfect. They check their pulse, they're ready to go. And you need to lock arms with them instead of saying, oh, they're only coming back when there's a bonus, when there's all these things to do. It is timing for people. It is timing for people. So if it's their time right now, then let it be and grow with them. But we all have big goals. All of us do. You guys are here at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 5 o'clock in the morning, ready to say, okay, we're talking about goals. Maybe I can take one or two things away from this Zoom that can help me grow. And so you're here. So you guys are already there. You guys, our mindset is legit, right? But it has to be on a daily basis. It's not just Friday. It's not just Tuesdays. It's literally Saturdays. I know people rest on Sundays, but I'm sure even on your rest day, you're plugging in somewhere because we have to get our mind right. So we talk about this all the time, right? Where we worry about what we put into our body. We worry about how much water we're drinking. We're worrying about, do we eat too much cupcakes that day? We're always so focused on what we're putting into our body, but we're not focused on what we're putting into our mind. what every single day can you do to make you a better you? Because you almost have to do that because life comes at us every single day, one way or the other. So we have to be strong to be able to take that when it comes to us, right? But the problem is finding time, right? It's finding time. We all have busy lives. We all have complicated lives. We all have times where we're just like so busy. But then we find our time when we do have it and we're vegging out. We're watching Netflix. We're doing the things that are not getting us closer to our goals. I mean, I remember, don't get me wrong, I watch Netflix, but I remember not much of it. And I'd only started watching it like 4 months ago. I remember like the first 2.5 years of being with this company, I don't remember turning on the TV. I just didn't. My goals were my goals are still big, but I knew that I would feel guilty if I turned on the TV. I was like, oh my God, Paul Gravett is going to like come into my house and he's going to know that I'm doing this. But I like that accountability, even though he literally wasn't coming into my house. I thought, what if he did? He wouldn't like, and you got all these goals, Kortney, right? But you're on, season 7 of whatever, but you got these big goals. And here again, we're only here on planet Earth for like a hot second. So I do want to make the best of it. I do want the best for me and my family, but I want the best for everyone around me that's maybe going to listen to 1 or 2 words that I'm going to say, right? So we have to think about what activities can we cut out? What can we cut out of your daily life to put more time into your goals, right? Not work necessarily, but there is things that have happened in the last year that you stopped doing because you had to, because you weren't allowed to go. You weren't allowed to go to the gym. I'm not saying don't work out, but you weren't allowed to do this. You weren't allowed to do, there's so many things. 2020 sets you up for spending more time on your goals because you have more time to do it because you're just not doing anything, right? But what I would say is, you have to prioritize your goals, right? So we all are doing multiple things. You're getting your kids going to school. You're going to school. You're going to work. You have hobbies. You have commitments. But all of these will never get you to your goal. Taking your kids to school, going to work, sitting around with your family. And I'm not saying don't do these things. Some of these things have to be done, but there is time that you have to take away and work on your goals, or you'll never get to them, right? But here's the thing too, is like, a lot of people did dream board parties in the last 3 weeks. A lot of people have got together, they've done Zooms, they've done calls, and what are your goals? What are your goals? What are your goals? And guess what? You have 20 goals. And now you're like, crap, where am I going to start with all of these goals I want? I want this, all the things that you want. And I'm not just talking business. You might want to start eating better. You might want to start exercising, but we're talking about operational winning a lot, right? Why don't you just start with like 2? Just 2, not 10. Write down 2 things that you want to focus on and start to form habits on those 2 things. Because if you got 10 things that you want to get done, you are going to paralyze yourself every morning when you get up and knowing I have 10 goals today to do every single day for the next year. Just form habits on the 2. I say this all the time, and it's from The Greatest Salesman in the World, that I might kind of mess up on it, but it's literally, I read the whole book, but this is like the thing that has got me the most in this book. Become a slave to your daily habits and not to your impulses. We are a slave like no other to our impulses. Impulse, I'm gonna do it. Impulse, gonna do it. Impulse, gonna do it. Could you imagine if you became a slave to your habits? Whatever that is for you, getting up and reading a devotional, getting up and listening to a recorded call from a Zoom from the day before, getting up and taking a walk. Self-care is so important. And when people feel guilty, they're like, oh, self-care. Oh, me. I got to work. Yeah, you better go me, get you right so you can get everyone else right along with you. If you want to lead 1 or 2 people, you have to lead yourself first. Don't think that that's crazy. There's so many people, we're women, most of us on here, that is like, self-care is like, we shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to take care of myself when I got all these other people to take care of? Because you could obviously take care of those people better. But you have to reduce all those things that are not getting you closer to your goal. It reduce them, then start taking them away. However, you need to do it well. Do those sort of things. But maintain your focus on a daily basis, which I seen Tammy kind of talk about a little bit. For some reason, the screen was like, when I got on, was froze for like 8 minutes. And then I couldn't find my phone because my kid had it in their room underneath their pillow. So today was awesome. So I'm like, I don't even know if they're talking, and I'm like flipping out, whatever. But having that daily visual, I mean, God, you only heard that 100 times if you've been around the last year. Daily visual, you're like, okay. But guess what? There's 148 people on here. I would say half of you don't, or maybe more than half don't actually look at those visuals every single day. It is so crucial. I tell my team in my office on this side are my dream boards. I have my yoga mat right here, which I don't usually necessarily do yoga, but I stretch on it. I tell people it's like my red carpet. That gray, it's a gray mat, but I'm like, that's like my red carpet because I can see all my goals in that spot. I don't just have them on my wall. I have them on the back of my, what am I sitting on? A desk. So when I'm on that yoga mat, I have more to look at. It just never ends. And so my morning miracle mornings, they are like a non-negotiable for me. Like 7 o'clock, this is good. I could do a 7 o'clock Zoom. I get on these Zooms. I listen to these Zooms, but it would crank my day up if it was 6 a.m. I know it's 6 a.m. for Chastity because my business of getting me right is during that 6 o'clock hour. And how am I going to be good for others if I'm not good for myself? And I will just kind of end there and pass it back to Chastity.
Well, I'm going to let Tammy talk a little bit. So Tammy, you actually are going, like you said, to a job outside of, your home job. And, what are some tips, for people that do work outside the home? Like Kortney said, finding that time, making sure that they're doing their miracle morning, finding that opportunity to reset those goals. And when you're juggling life, now I know that you don't have littles at home, but you do things that, keep you busy throughout the day. So give us some tips on managing that and keeping that in check when you're working outside the home.
Okay, real quick, I wanted to show you everybody this book too. This is the book that Chastity was talking about, the Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy. So definitely a great book. So yeah, it's funny because for years I did both. I worked full-time and I did Lavelle, and then I was able to walk away from my full-time job in 2018. And now I work just a few days a week waitressing. But honestly, for me, it's better because it makes me have to make sure that I'm doing things on track, because when I'm sitting at home all day, let's just say, I can get all the different places and all the different things, where this way I'm like, okay, 7 o'clock Zoom, get on that. Do I do it every time? No, but I'm working on that, and it's just doing those things. But, like Kortney said, we have to set our day up, or our day is going to wash us away, and that happens to me sometimes, but most days now I'm like, here's my calendar, here's my plan for the day. A wrench might get in there, but I need to get back and focus on that. And I really have learned that writing the things down, because, I can get up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to do this today, do this today, do this today. And then all of a sudden I go lay down. I'm like, I didn't do anything today. And that's just like, that's heart wrenching. It really is when you feel like that, because even like they say, and I know you talk about this a lot, Jas, getting up in the morning and making your bed. That's one that you started your day, accomplished something, and some days, I'm not going to lie, I wake up and I'm like, those capsules are in my mouth and I'm like, I got to go. But I'm turning around and looking and going, nope, you got to make your bed. You got to get that accomplished. And I think a lot for me, honestly, is listening to what other people do. Like Kortney talks about that with her vision boards, and doing that. I have right here on my kitchen table, and I know it's crazy that it's on my kitchen table. That's where I have it. It's my words for 2021. And I got ambitious and grateful and Jesus and kind and beautiful and warrior, daring, amazing, all the things. I look at that every day when I walk into my kitchen. It's right there, and I think having those visions in front of us is the biggest. Last year on my vision board, I had my gladiator on there, and that was right when they said you can get trucks. And I put that white and black Gladiator on there that morning. And guess what? I got it this year. And it was such a nice thing. You know, I have on my vision board to move to Arizona. February 9th, I'm leaving. I'm moving to Arizona, you know, but I had the dates there. These are the things that I need to do. And in order to get there, I have to learn to be disciplined. That's exactly what it is. And I was the biggest procrastinator, and I had to learn how to eat the frog. I had to learn how to not procrastinate everything away. And it's a work in progress. Believe me, I'm not sitting here saying, yay, I'm doing everything exactly right, but I'm learning. And I think that's another big thing we all need to learn. You know, I want to add one thing that I think is very important. And if you can take 20 minutes to 30 minutes of your day and self-develop, whether it's listening to an audible, reading a little bit, just find the things that are going to help. And every day's different. You know, some days I'm listening to David Goggins. I need some David Goggins in my life. The next day I need Joyce Myers, you know, so it's like, you need to pick what you need, but I mean, it's really very important. And just have those goals written down and reach out to people and have an accountability partner. You know, Cheryl's probably my biggest accountability partner. We talk every day and we can be like, okay, girl, what'd you get done today? You know, and we just cheer each other on. And I think that's very important too. So I just appreciate all of you. I love the fact that we have such an amazing group of men, women that just get together, encourage each other, lift each other, and we just do life together. And I'm just blessed to be on this journey with you all.
I love that, Tammy. It just segues into what I was going to ask Cheryl, because I know that Cheryl's very good at this. And I know that you guys work very closely together. I know y'all do a lot of life and things together. But Cheryl, talk to us a little bit about, you know, you've had life happen in the last, since you've been in this business, and life has inevitably knocked you off kilter, knocked you off center. I'm sure there's days where you're like, I don't even want to get out of bed, much less self-develop, talk to anybody about Thrive. Talk to us about the importance of putting your pride aside, reaching out to your safe circle and saying, I know you know my goals, I'm not doing what I need to do, and what that does for you to get in three-way chats, phone calls, that sort of thing, and then just refueling your tank, because we all get empty. We are like cars. We don't stay empty. I don't care if you are a multi-millionaire, multi-million dollar leader, if you have the best everything, you don't stay, you know, full. You are like a car. You have to continue to fill up, whether you're going at your optimal or you're just putting along. Eventually you're going to have to refuel. So talk to us about that and how important your safe circle is, and just saying, look, I need to get my fire lit.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've had so much life happen, you know, since I've come into the company, and it's so important to have those people, like Chas said. I know I can reach out to Chastity and say, man, I cannot get out of bed. You know, I am just out, you know, down for the count. And she is going to pour into me. Because we get so busy pouring into other people that, like, you know, we run on empty. And when you run on empty for so long, it is hard to get your booty out of bed. It is hard to do those things. So, you know, very, very, very important. Know who you can reach out to, know who's going to love on you, know who's going to kick your butt when you need it, know who's going to say, okay, girl, you've got 30 seconds to vent, to complain, to whatever, and we're going to find a solution and we're going to get moving. Find those people in your team that you can reach down to and say, let's go live. Let's do a three-way call. Who can we talk to today? Because that is going to refuel you. That's going to help get you motivated. When you're helping, you know, somebody, and they're pouring into you and they're saying, oh my gosh, that was so great. You know, thank you. I needed that. You're pouring into each other. You're helping each other get motivated, to stay on track with your goals. And, you know, guys, I'm going to be real. I mean, life is going to hit you, and it's going to hit you hard. And you might have to take a step back and say, okay, I need to regroup for a minute. But it is not quitting. It is not staying down. It's not staying in the bed. It's not staying there in that mindset. And you have to have those tools that you know that you can turn on music, You can, go to prayer. You can go to meditation. Again, your safe circle. You have those tools in your toolbox that is going to refuel you. It is going to remotivate you and reignite that fire inside of you. Look at your vision board. Look at the dreams that you have. Look at the goals that you have, not only for yourself, but for your team. My vision board, next to it, I also have thank you cards or thank you notes or thank you messages that I've printed out from people that motivate me, that is hanging. When I open up my eyes, I can see my vision board, one of them. I can see my gratitude board. I can see my team's visions and their goals. And I also know, or have my family, what is my daughter dreaming of? What is my grand giggle dreaming of? And let me tell you, I've got unicorns all over the place because she wants, her Gigi to find her unicorn. So, we have those kind of things that, when I don't feel like it, when I'm like, I just can't today, that I look at and say, no, I'm not going to look at my granddaughter and say, no, I just don't feel like it today. I would never do that. I might look at myself, but I would never, ever, ever look at her and say, I just don't want to. I don't want to get up today. I don't want to do these things today. So important, you guys, because life is going to happen. I mean, if nothing else, this past year has taught us that we can't control things that go on, but we have to learn to adapt to them, roll with the punches, and just keep going. No matter what, we have to get up, we have to do the do, and you feel so much better. Like Tammy said, I mean, you feel so much better. I know I can call Tammy on the phone and say, man, am I feeling in a funk today? Right. And she's like, okay, I get it. Okay, but we're going to do this because you told me you're going to do this. So let's do it. So yeah, so important to have those people that understand that, you can go to without any judgment, that you can say, this is going on in my world right now, and I need you to pray for me, or I need you to kick my butt. You have to have those people, because I tell you what, those people that are going to tell you everything that you want to hear are okay, but you need the people in your life that are going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's important. That's so important.
I love that what Tammy said about sometimes she needs David Goggins, sometimes she needs Joyce Meyer, sometimes she needs Brene Brown. You have to know what you need. And I was a big resistor. For example, Tony Robbins, if y'all remember that part of my life where I was like, I don't like him. He says the F word at you. And I feel like I have daddy issues. I feel like I'm crawling under the table and he's yelling at me. And Pat's like, you're taking it way too personal. He ain't even talking to you. So now when I need to lift strong or I need to push myself, I'm push and play on that. When I'm just doing some light work or, whatever, I want to have good vibes coming in. So I had to know what I needed when I needed it. And that is the same thing with our circles. Leadership, you should have a buffet of leadership. You should know which one of your leaders is going to say, you're amazing. You're going to, I always say, like Paul, he's like our hype squad, right? Like he is going to encourage us and tell us to go get 100 free accounts. And he's going to repeat the same thing over and over. Camper, Jason Camper, when you hear him, he's going to talk about ingredients. He's going to talk about the business. He's going to get to the topic, get it done, and tell you to get your butt to work, quit making excuses. So you know that about the people that are in your life. This morning, so as I said last night, I spoke at a college and I took two of my main dream boards. I took them with me last night. And so Pat loaded them and they're sitting on my kitchen table. When I went to the bathroom this morning, I was like, what's wrong? Something's missing. Y'all know that, everybody shared a different place that they have their vision board, their goals, their words, their affirmation. There's no right or wrong except for what's right for you. Mine is in my bathroom. I brush my teeth. I can see it from when I'm sitting on the pot, like it's right there. Well, they are big and they don't match with my bathroom, but they are huge and they're on my walls. They were missing this morning. And I was like, what's missing in here? Like, it feels weird. That's how it should feel when you don't have your goals, when you don't have your daily tasks, when you are not taking care of yourself. One time I remember I had, I think it was Becky was here, and we were preparing for a women's event, and it was chaos. It was chaos. And I just felt like something was off. And I'm like, stop, just stop for a minute. And I got completely silent and completely quiet. And I was like, what's missing? Hey, Brittany, can you see who's unmuted? I can't, let me see. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, it's just something is off. Well, for me, I play music all through my house. I have music in the loft, I have music in my home. There's some light spiritual music going all through my home. Somehow that had got turned off, and I was feeling anxious. It's really hard to like scream or cuss somebody out in the middle of your living room when you've got like Christian music going. You're like, oh, so I keep those things going, like to keep me from going cray. And so, I noticed that something was off. I noticed that something was missing. That's where we have to be. I say all the time, practice that pause, be conscious and aware, and go, what's missing? I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't been eating right. I haven't been doing my self-development. I have been watching too much mainstream media. I have been listening to too many negative Nancy's in my life. I have been around people that don't have bigger visions, bigger goals. You've got to recognize, and let me tell you, don't try to filter your life. Don't try to fake it. I always say that whole fake it till you make it. No, borrow somebody else's confidence. Faith it till you make it. Be who you are. For the longest time, a lot of people were like, Chaz, I'm taking a nap and I'm a thriver. And I'm like, you're taking a nutritional supplement. You're not on crack. Okay. It's okay if you need to take a nap. And people thought, I can't take a nap because I'm a thriver. Or they would be like, I'm having a bad day and I feel so guilty because I've been on 75 self-development Zooms and I still yelled at my kids and I still went to bed mad, and oh my gosh, I didn't wake up today and make my bed. You're human. You are human. Give yourself some grace. You can get down. You can fall down, but don't you stay there. Y'all know I'm always thinking of different things. And as we're getting ready to go to Cabo, I was thinking about the waves. Our life should be like a wave, ups and downs, ups and downs. We know this business is like that. It's like ups and downs, like big waves. And sometimes it's just, like a low tide, that sort of thing. But you got to be like a wave, up and down. When you get down, know why you're down. I shared last night, I said, how many people have ever been on the struggle bus? And everybody's like, me. Well, remember, the struggle bus is a bus. It's a trip. It's a ride. When you get on a bus, you go from destination to destination. Then you get off. You don't usually just ride a bus for forever, right? You take a trip. Every struggle, every trip, every trial is an opportunity to say, what did I learn? What did this experience teach me? Did I cause this struggle? Did I, could I have avoided this? And what did I learn that now I can teach somebody else? So quit staying on the bus, quit sitting there and going, this is happening to me. And this is what, no, I recognize there's a lot of people that are going through life still. We have some of our top leaders that are attending funerals today. There are people that are struggling. There is life that is happening, but you sit for a minute and you have to keep going. You have to keep moving forward. And I'll say some of my greatest leaders and greatest friends, they have rode some of the hardest, bumpiest, craziest struggle buses, and they're overcoming. They have taken that obstacle in life and they have made it a part of what drives them. So just know this, struggle bus is for a ride. It's for a trip. And you know what? You get off, you reevaluate, you go, what am I missing? What's wrong? What is off? Pat tells me all the time, if we have a hard thing, something's happening, and he comes in and I'm like, I don't, he's like, who pissed you off today? Who made you mad? who's been in your messenger. And I'm like, why are you saying that? Why are you talking to me like that? He's like, because I haven't been in the house all day. I kissed you good morning. And so I know I haven't done anything. I haven't sent a text. So you're lashing out at me and I haven't done anything. And he calls me on my crap. He's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, yeah, so-and-so is complaining about this. Oh my gosh, we're having trouble with this shipment. Oh, da, da, da. But, and he's like, and I'm like, I'm able to recognize and channel that energy in the right place. It doesn't mean I don't get stressed out. It doesn't mean I don't get burnout. It doesn't mean I don't get crazy. That is something that is taking me time. And I still, like Tammy said, I still to this day have to get myself in check and keep people in my circle that are going to cause me to level up my game. All right, Court, I'm going to let you, we're going to round robin, do some quick tips. And hey, I want you to, real quick, I know we're going to do a drawing. So let's go ahead and be proactive right now. And let us know where your goals and vision boards are. So if you've got it in your bathroom, on your wall, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. And Brittany will draw from somebody that's posted where they are. And hey, I know Lisa's really good about doing, different things. I would love, if you've never read Eat That Frog and you would like it, drop in the comments below. I don't have Eat That Frog. And then Brittany, we can do a couple of drawings and I'll get those sent out. So Kortney, give us some last closing tips.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about time. We're talking about goals. And here's the deal. We're trying to figure out when are we going to spend time with our goals and prioritize and take some things away that we don't need to do. So this is funny because probably 3-4 years ago, I'd always hear, wake up early before you would, 10 minutes early. I'm like, I don't really want to wake up 10 minutes early. Like, I like sleep, Well, obviously I did. So I remember it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Gosh, I don't know, time flies. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start waking up 10 minutes early and doing a devotional or whatever it was for that morning. And then all of a sudden, 6 months ago, later, I'm waking up 20 minutes earlier. And then all of a sudden here, years and years later, now I'm getting up 2 hours earlier than I would have 3 or 4 years ago, because it's so important. So if you are just like, okay, I don't have time because I'm working and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, wake up 10 minutes early. And you look at yourself in a year from now and see how much earlier you are getting up to accomplish your goals. Because if you don't have time in the day because you get up right before you have to go somewhere, you have to kind of do that checkup from the neck up. And I'm going to say this one thing, and I started doing this like a week and a half ago, and it's freaking awesome. I started making a stop doing list. So it's a no to-do list. So, we put our to-do list every day, do this, but now I started writing stop doing lists. So I have things written down. I have 7 things written down right now that I'm not going to do. But guess what? I have to see that for me, because all of a sudden throughout the day, I'm like, oh gosh, I did that. And I did this and I did that. And I wasn't supposed to do that because it's not getting me closer to my goals. So that's something that has worked for me. So now I'm looking at that, and every day I go to that, in a sense, those 7 things, I start to creep at it. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm doing that. I already know what it's doing for my life. Absolutely nothing. So to me, that's been good, a stop doing list instead of just a to-do list. And then it's getting me closer to the places that I want to be.
Oh my gosh, Kortney, that's so good. And I challenge you guys to make that list too, because here's the thing, maybe it's Netflix. Hey, I'm not saying it's not you need to balance, but maybe Netflix is people have been addicted to it because it's just their brainless, or maybe it's chocolate. Maybe it's something. Hey, there's no shame in that. Write it down, post it, put it somewhere. Let somebody in your family, I dare you to write it and then let somebody in your family, show your kids the not do list. And I bet you the second you try to eat that cookie, your kid's gonna be like, oh, I thought you weren't eating cookies. Pat, if I tell him, babe, I'm not going to Netflix, he's going to be like, oh, I thought you were Netflix. And I'm going to be like, rah. But Get somebody in that house to keep you accountable and ask them, what's something you would like to not do? Get some accountability in your house. Now, you may get pissed off for the first few days while you're creating that habit, but if you write it down and say, this is a time waster, this is not making me better, do that. Kortney, that was like mic drop. All right, Tammy.
You want me to share again?
Give us just one last, final tip, something that's just super important about your day and your goals.
Final tip for me is I had to really learn to not be a procrastinator. I'm really bad at procrastinating. Just really, really. I always have been. Like I put it off. And then I'm like a crazy fool running around trying to figure it all out. So I'm really learning, like going to Cabo. So that's a perfect thing for me right now. I have my paper that says I had the antibody test done. Now I just got to find my doctor to do it. But I was procrastinating it away. And by the time if I don't do it, then I won't have that paper. So it's just doing those little things. And I think that for me, the procrastination has been crazy because then my whole world gets crazy. So I'm really learning to focus on my goals, write the things down, and just learn from it. I've really trying to not be a procrastinator. And that's really changed a lot in my life because I've told people that are in their 20s that are procrastinators, I'm like, stop now. Take it from a 55-year-old. Stop now. Because it makes your life so chaotic, and it helps with your goals, and it just helps everything in your world. So that's my biggest thing is, I needed to learn to stop procrastinating. So, and I know there's people on here that are procrastinators. So we all need to get together and stop it. So that's what I got, Chas.
All right, Cheryl, last minute tip.
Last minute tip for me is, guys, is keep your focus on your goals. Don't pay attention to this person and maybe they're accomplishing something before you have or whatever. Is pay attention to your goals. Your goals are your goals. Your journey is your journey. And sometimes you have to just trust. You have to trust where God's leading you to learn, like Chas said. You have to learn along the way. And maybe it's a lesson that you have to learn to get organized, or you have to learn to take a step back and just figure out what it is that you're supposed to be learning from this lesson, patience, or you're not ready to hit a goal yet or whatever. But don't quit. Keep your eye on your goals and keep your safe circle very, very close to you.
That's so good. How many of y'all are loving the morning show? I just have to shout out, when we had just a, kind of a flip in things, and shout out to Lisa Fuller for taking the reins. And I love that she has set up different people. I mean, guys, this is just amazing. I know some of our California people, like it's 4 a.m. for them. This is super, super early. Guys, if you are loving these, make sure you share them. Make sure that they're getting out to people. There's people that are not in our bot. And I will tell you, in the last 10 days, we have had hundreds of people not in our team say, I've heard about this bot thing. I want to get notifications of this morning thing, of the lunch thing. I mean, they want to be in the know. And so we're setting just a huge precedence. I did want to wrap up on time today because this is something that's super powerful about this morning Zoom. We do the 100 days to brave, and because there's so much good information on these morning time vibes, we get to the end and we run through that 100 days to brave. Y'all, my devotion, my time, my spiritual time is precious to me. And there are things, and it's no fault of us. We get started talking and we share, and then we're like, Tiff, can you read 100 Days to Brave in like 2 seconds? So I wanted to give us ample time to read that and to listen, because I started thinking, I don't know what the last 5 Brave challenges were because we rushed through it. So make sure that the things that are important to you, that you set that, like Kortney said, if it's important to you, set the time aside. Make sure that you're intentional. So let's, Brittany, do you have, we need a winner and a winner. Let's do 2 winners. So who do you got for us?
Okay, the first one for Lisa's giveaway is Jennifer Redwine.
Yay!
So,
okay, Jennifer, I'm gonna give Lisa a break on mailing something out. So Brittany, if you'll take care of that, and I'll send out to Jennifer. And then the Eat the Frog.
Oh, Okay, that one was Misty Maynard.
Okay, awesome. So I'll get those out. Brittany will have to remind me 17 times. But I want to help Lisa so she don't have to.
If you both want to message me, I'll get your address, I'll get your giveaway pic, and then I'll send them to Chastity.
Awesome. All right, is Tiffany on?
I'm actually doing it today. It's Star.
Oh, hey, Star. Hey,
Hi.
it's good to hear your voice. You're not on Facebook for a hot minute, right?
Well, my husband decided to share his Facebook with me, so I'm on there now.
Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. What day are we on?
We are on day 22, and it is, you are who God says you are. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And that's in Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. My friend Jenna got a job at a bank in Nashville. She was so excited during her training when her trainer told her that she would be learning how to identify counterfeit money. In her sassy business suit, Jenna went to work that day expecting to see and feel every different kind of counterfeit currency the FBI knew about. She loves that kind of stuff, like those shows on television dedicated to busting people breaking the law. So when Jenna arrived that morning, she had a definite bounce in her step, ready to start on the next undercover show. Instead, the trainers handed her and her fellow new employees stacks of real money and asked each person to count a stack over and over, and then again and over again. I don't know if this is totally accurate, but Jenna swears she counted the $51 bills more than 100 times. Frustrated, one of the other new workers asked their trainer, "Why are we doing this?" The trainer responded, "Well, now you know how real money feels. You have practiced so much with the real thing that you will easily notice the fakes. When you spend time with God and immerse yourself in the truth of his word, you will easily notice the lies and the things you hear in your head that aren't really you. You will hear the truth of who God says you are much more clearly, like how you are dearly loved. All over his word, you will find that God says you are accepted. You are a friend of God, his heir. You are completely forgiven. You are secure. Romans 8 says that you are free from condemnation. You are significant. Ephesians 2 says that you are God's workmanship, seated with Jesus in the heavenly realms. All over his word, God says that you are strong and important on this planet. You are who God says you are, and you can be brave. Now, she highlights in this in this page, when you spend time with God and immerse yourself into the truth of his word, you will easily notice the lies and the things you hear in your head that aren't really you. Be brave. Finish this sentence. I am significant because blank. And here are 3 ways that impacts my life. So again, I'm going to read that over to you guys. I am significant because, and here are 3 ways that impacts my life.
I love that, Star. So good. That, you know what? I think that's why we needed to have time to hear that. Some of us need that reminder. I am significant because I am making my mark on the world. And that impacts me because it makes me be accountable. It makes me be a better person. It makes me show up. It allows me to leave my fingerprint on people's lives. And I'm going to tell you, like, I know sometimes you're like, Chess is so whoo, but I'm going to tell you, like, God, I see you this morning, because last night when I spoke, I challenged the students. I said, I want you to also place a little picture of when you were a little kid on your dream board, wherever you're going to place it, somewhere you see it every day and they're looking at me like, because see, a lot of these kids don't like me. I'm old, so I think I was cute as a baby. A lot of these teenagers are like, oh, I don't want to see me as a kid. And, you know, they're not there yet, but I challenged them to do this. And I said, have any of you doubted yourself? Have any of you felt like I can't finish this exam or I can't finish this? And they're like, me? How many of y'all struggle with me? How many? And I said, I want you the next time that you start saying, I can't, I'm not enough. Look at her on Instagram, look at her story. Look, I want you to say that to that little girl. I want you to say it to that little boy. Would you talk to that cute little face like that? And I had my picture on the screen and they're like, no, you're so cute. I had these chubby cheeks and this little ringlet hair and everything. And I'm like, would you say, you're lazy, you're not driven, you're not smart enough, you don't have a high enough PPA, you don't have enough discipline, you eat too much crap, you've been divorced too many times, you're a failure. You would never say any of those things. You would look at that little person and go, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You have so much potential. You are brave. Today you can conquer the world. You're making an impact and you are significant because. So set that picture, get a picture out, y'all go find one and set it somewhere. And I don't care, this is not what this is about, but I could tell you some trauma that little girl faced. When I look in that little girl's eyes in that picture, I say, I know you were hurting and I know you carried things that you were not meant to carry, but you're an overcomer. And baby girl, when you get older in life, those things that you went through are going to be part of your story. Your breakdown is going to be part of your breakthrough. So we are right on time. Brittany, can you just give us a shout out? Because we did this, but you know, guys, today has been so awesome. And if you missed it, grab the recording. Thank you, Brittany, for always recording. And thank you to my guests, Kortney, Tammy, and Cheryl. I just love you girls. I'm so thankful that we do life together. I'm thankful that y'all are a part of my circle. I'm thankful that y'all will call me on my crap, kick me in my butt, pray with me, whatever I need. You just got a bazillion nuggets. So I want you, remember, we are so about consumption, but we need to be about production. So when you consume a Zoom, you got to go produce something. Okay. So consume and produce. So out of everything, whether it was something Tammy said, Kortney said, Cheryl said, go right now and put into place something. Maybe it's the to don't do list, whatever it is that you need to do, go do it, because it just, psychology is that if you don't go put it into action, you keep hearing, do the do, get the get. That's fun to say because it sounds good, but you really do. You have to go put into play what you just learned. So, hey, thank you guys for being so committed. Special thank you to Lisa for making sure this stays organized, Brittany for being the back end. You guys have an amazing day. It's Flex Friday, and we have a lot to be thankful for. Let's show our strength. And I've been hearing a whole lot about unity and all of that. So let's unite as Thrivers and one community with a lot of different faces, a lot of different beliefs, but we come together for one common culture, and that's to change the lives of the people that we're around. So y'all have an incredible Friday. We will see you Monday, same time, same space.